Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing good. So today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful front drawstring gown. This is a very simple one. Trust me when I say that. Super easy. Like, this is beginners friendly. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to show you how we're going to go down with this. Let's get to it. So this is the print, of course, and I have this plain starting fabric. That's what I'm using for the yoke design there, and of course my working tools. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and set all this aside so that we can get started. So for my print now, I'm going ahead to open this up. So I'm going to work with the full measurement I'm actually working with is 56. Okay, so I'm just going to add 2 inches extra for the seam allowance. That's the hemming allowance at the top, at the bottom. Then I'll also add another extra 2 inches again. Okay, so that one is going to serve as the drawstring effect, because of the drawstring, by the time you drag it up, the gown tends to move up. Okay, so that's why I'm adding that extra 2 inches again. Okay, yeah, but that is optional if you don't want yours to be like that. So I'm just going ahead to measure the full length. Okay, it was actually 58 inches plus the extra 2 inches for hemming allowance and the extra 2 inches again for the drawstring effect, making it 60. So I have my 60 inches doubled, right, for the front and back. So I have this folded already into 4, as you can see right now. So getting started now, I'm just indicating the shoulder width of 16 divided by 2, 8 inches. So from there, I'll just indicate the actual length, okay, where the length of my sleeve is meant to get to. So depending on the fabric you are using, if you feel that yours is much longer, then you can just trim out the excesses depending on the length of the sleeve that you want. So I'm working with the entire piece. So at that edge, I'm marking 1.5 inches for the slope. Then at the edge there, I mark 3 inches. So I'll just go ahead now and connect it together. So this will give me my slope. So from that slope point, I'm going to indicate the sleeve opening of 11 inches. So I'm going ahead to mark that down, okay? So from there, I'll just make that my chest line. You can see me drawing my lines right there. So after that, I'll indicate the other vertical lines there. So from the top there, I indicate the waistline. I'm marking that at 17, and the hip line, I'm marking that at 25. So I'm going ahead to also get the straight lines, as you can see me doing right now. So after that, now I'm going to fix in the body circumference. So I am working with one measurement. That is the biggest measurement of the body, which is the hip. Okay, so the hip I'm working with is 44. If I divide it by 4, that's 11. So that's what I'm going to work with. I'm going to be fixing in my hip measurement all the way from my chest line to the waistline to the hip line, all the way to the length of my dress. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm working with. So you can see me going ahead to add extra 4 inches. Okay, so this is meant to be really free. So that's how much of the freeness that I want in this outfit. Okay, so I'm adding extra 4 inches after putting in my hip measurement divided by 4. So you can see me doing that all the way to the end of the dress there. So I'll go ahead now and connect everything together. You can see from the bust to the waist to the hip, down there to the length of the dress. Then I'm going to also go ahead and add extra 1 inches again. So this one is going to serve as my seam allowance, okay? My sewing allowance. So I'm going ahead to add extra 1 inches extra. That's aside the initial 4 inches was already marked out. So this totally depends on, if you don't want yours to be so free like that, you can reduce it from 4 to maybe 3, okay, if that's what you want. So you can see me going ahead to connect it all. Then at that chest line, that will create my armhole right there. You can see me drawing a curve, and that is it. It's as that simple. Then I'll come now to the edge and fixing my neck width. I'm working with a neck width of 3 inches. Okay. Then a neck depth of also 3 inches. So I'm using 3 inches for both the front and the back. So this depends on what you want as well. So I'm using 3 inches right there. And that is it, guys. You can see this. So I'll go ahead now and cut this out. So when I'm done cutting this out, then I can now, create my yoke design. So you can see me going all the way to cut the measurements all through. And here we're done. You can see this is how it looks when you're done. It's very simple. You can see this, guys. It's that simple. So I went ahead to take off 0.5 inches from the neck depth. Initially it was 3, so I later made it 3.5. Okay, yeah. So now I'm going ahead now to indicate the V-neck shape to cut our yoke. So I marked 10 inches in depth. Then at that neck width there, I went away by 5 inches, so that by the time I'm done hemming, it's going to be what, 4 inches. So you can see how I created the v-neck shape. I'm going ahead what, to cut it out. Don't forget I used 10 inch. It can totally depends on what you want actually. Okay, yeah. So opening this up, this is what I have. So this cutout, I'm going to replace it with a plain fabric. So you can see I already have my interfacing on the plain fabric. So I just folded it on fold, and so I'll go ahead now and cut it out. Okay, so in this process, you make sure that you don't cut exactly what you have. You leave some extra, allowances by the side. Okay, just to, you're going to be sewing it back to the dress. So I'm going ahead to add like 1 inches on that v-neck shape, so you can see what I'm doing right now. So after that, now I'll go ahead now and cut it out. So after cutting it out, then I can now attach it what, to the main dress. So you can see going ahead to cut out my piece right here. So what I did, you can see I just used one plain fabric. So I would advise you to double it in the sense that you used another plain fabric for the facing, okay, of the neckline. Okay, I didn't do that because I was trying to manage my fabric right there. So this is it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to indicate the center point of this dress. You can see me notching the lowest part and the top part there, which is already on that V shape. I'm just marking it down. Okay, so I need to indicate the center point there. Then I'm going to draw a straight line. You can see what I'm doing. I'm drawing a straight line to the end of the dress. So this is where I'm going to be fixing in my drawstring. So I need to create a casing for that. Okay, so I'm trying to get a perfect straight line at the center. You can see I have that already now. Okay, yeah. So what I'm going to do now is to measure what I have there from that neck depth all the way to the end. So whatever it is I have about 50. It will now help me, know the amount of fabric that I'm going to cut out. So what I'm trying to cut out here now is 2 inches in width, okay? 4 inches in width rather. I'm going ahead to cut that out. Then once I'm done, I just have some pieces, so I have to do some joining there so that I'll get my desired length actually. So 4 inches in width, or you can do 3 inches also. So once I have the long strip, okay, which is going to fit into what I already mentioned, so I'm going to place it at the center there. You can see this now. Then I'll go ahead and fold 0.5 inches on one side and on the other side, just like you see me demonstrating. Just make sure that it is aligned at the center, okay? Then I'll go ahead and top stitch. So the best way to do this is to use your iron to iron the 0.5 inches so that you will have it all ready. Okay, then once you're done, so I'll be creating a double casing. I will stitch on both sides, then I'll also stitch at the center. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'll do this all the way straight down. Then I'll also cutting out another tiny piece. So this one is about 2 inches in width. It's a long strip, let's say about 60 to 70 inches. So this one is what I'm going to use for the tie, okay, which I'm going to pass through the casing to be able to create that drawstring effect. So you can see I'm going ahead to cut out 2 inches in width. So the initial one for the casing there was 4 inches in width, while this one for the rope there is 2 inches. So you can see, so just going ahead to make my fold like so, just like you see me demonstrating. So I'll go ahead and sew this. So I'm going to have a very, very long strap, okay? So just going ahead to join all the pieces together to create my strap and also to sew the casing. So I'll come back to show you the next step. And here, guys, you can see I've gone ahead to create my casing. You can see what this looks like. Don't forget, like I said, we sewed on the center there as well, so we could have a double casing. See, as I'm using my scissors to demonstrate the two casings right there. You can see this now. Also, make sure to trim off any excesses, okay? And of course, you can see my long strap. So like I said, I have a lot of this, okay? So once I'm done attaching it, if there's any excesses, I can also trim that out. So I'll go ahead now and pass my safety pin through my strap. So I'm working with one strap now, so I'll just locate one of the casing there. You can see I'll go ahead and pass my strap all through. So you need a little bit of patience doing this, okay? Just carefully pass this through. As you do that, you also adjust, okay, just to push it up. You can see what I'm doing. So once you've gotten to the very end, then I'll go ahead and use my pin to just hold it down firmly. Okay, yeah, so I'm taking off my safety pin, then I'll go ahead and fix for the next one. So I'm passing my strap there as well, and of course I'll take my time and pass through my strap through the casing. Okay, so once I'm done, you go ahead and stitch it there. Stitch it just to make sure you secure it, make sure you top stitch very well. So after that, I can now trim off the excesses. Okay, so the next thing I'll do now is to go ahead and fix my yoke. So my V yoke is here. So just like I told you, make sure you use a full facing. You can see my facing is halfway, and so the interfacing there is still showing, okay, which is not really proper because I don't have enough of that fabric. Okay, so I just had to go with that. So please make sure you use a full facing to cover up your V shape right there. So locating the actual center, so I'm going to go ahead now and attach my V yoke there, so you can see what I'm doing. Just make sure that the pointed edge of your V yoke is matching up with the center there, and I'll go ahead and so just carefully sew it through. Okay, trust me, you're going to get it right. So I'm going ahead to use my pin to demonstrate this. So you just sew on one side. So once you're done, you move it over to the other side. Okay, making sure that that center points, they are matching up firmly. Okay, and you go ahead and also sew to the other side. So once I'm done stitching this, you can actually see how this will look like, but make sure you also clean up the edges. Okay, so go ahead and clean up the edges. You can weave that properly and give it a very good press. So without sewing, you can already see what this looks like. So after that is done, this is what I have. Trim off all the necessary excess. You can see I've also cleaned up the edges very well, so you can see this. I've also given this a very good press. So by the time you drag this down, you already have your effect. But we're not going to be doing this. We're doing this when we're totally done with the entire sewing. So one thing I also want to point out is that before you create your casing, it's better you hem the lowest part of this dress. Okay, yeah, so as it is now, I have to find a way to hem this neatly, so I can actually do this. So if you're a beginner, I mean, this might be a little bit tricky here to want to hem when you've already created your casing there. So you can just make sure you hem it before creating your casing. Okay, now the next thing now, of course, is to join the entire piece together, bringing the back to the front, right side facing each other. I'll go ahead and sew through the shoulder. Then of course at this point I will now hem the sleeve. After hemming the sleeve neatly, then we'll go ahead and sew the sides. Take it from that sleeve through the armhole all the way straight down to the end of the dress, and of course we'll do the same thing for the other side. Okay, yes guys, and once that is done, guys, this outfit is ready, like ready. You can see how beautiful this is looking. This is it, guys. It's that beautiful. Like, this is a very simple one. Okay, and of course this drawstring effect makes it to be what more beautiful. Okay, so once you wear, just go ahead and drag it. Okay, so you can drag it. So this is better done when you're wearing it on, or you place this on the mannequin, just to make sure that you distribute that gathers effect evenly. And of course this will give you a very beautiful high-low effect. Just drag it to the length you want the front to get to. So whatever, once you've achieved that, then you can trim off the excess of the strap you have, and you go ahead and notch the edge very well, so that you don't have it pulling out mistakenly. Okay, and that is it, guys, on how to make this very beautiful front drawstring dress. This is so beautiful. I'm sure you definitely want to try this one. Thank you so much, guys. We've come to the end of today's tutorial. I hope you find this helpful. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that. I'm begging you, please subscribe. Support this channel by subscribing, like, and share with friends. I will appreciate this. See you on the next one, guys. Bye.